Hi, my name's Dre, and I wanted to share you my thoughts on the 5 things that may ruin modern gaming. Keep in mind, this is just my personal list on what can ruin video games today. But I am interested to hear on what you think is ruining today's gaming by commenting down below after watching this video. Disclaimer: this is not meant to insult any game company out there, but rather pinpoint shady business practices in order for the consumers to be aware of, and to help other gaming companies provide better services in the future. Now, let's begin. Number 1. Bad DLC. Back in the day, when you buy a full-priced game, it meant you knew exactly what you were getting. A complete experience. Then, years later, they introduced DLCs to extend the luster of the game. DLC back then meant additional content, and it felt like more of an extension of a game. Today, however, those 3 letters turned into some sort of cancer in the gaming community, and has caused major controversies and issues for gamers. Majority of gamers are outraged because they believe the full-priced game that they bought is missing content, and companies are purposely cutting content to exploit easy-to-fool consumers for money. Now, keep in mind I'm talking about bad DLC such as Day 1 DLC for example. Now, there are good DLCs out there such as the Undead Nightmare from Red Dead Redemption, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep from Borderlands 2, Battlefield Bad Company 2 Vietnam, The Last of Us Left Behind, and Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon to name a few. These DLCs felt like an extension of a game, and not a missing piece of the puzzle. Now, moving on, I wanted to give you my own example of what a bad DLC is. Like the color palette packs in various fighting games. I mean, come on dude, that's something that should have been in the game in the first place. That is not an extension. That is what I like to call a missing feature that you have to unnecessarily pay for. Don't be an idiot, don't buy these types of DLCs. Oh, by the way, the worst type of DLC that I've seen so far is the Ranger mode from Metro Last Light. It's basically a difficulty setting that charges players $5. $5 for a difficulty setting. And the description even says, the way how the game is meant to be played. So, you remove the setting on how the game is meant to be played, and instead of patching this, you decided to charge it separately for $5. That is insulting and unnecessary. Don't do that. In short, DLCs should provide extra hours of fun, excitement, story, and content. You know, something like this, or this, maybe even this, that, and like this. DLCs shouldn't be like this, or this, or this, and this. I mean, come on guys, make our video games like this, not this. And oh god, I hope I didn't give McDonald's an idea. But still, my point still stands. Again, this, not this. Number 2. Microtransactions in AAA games. You know what's even more cancerous than bad DLCs? Microtransactions in AAA titles. Now, these so-called microtransactions is often practiced in free-to-play titles in order for their games to make money. So, it's understandable. But it also has its fair share of controversy because people who can pay more can basically pay to win the game. But if you put microtransactions in a AAA game, the game will be worse than pay to win. It's going to be pay for fun. Take Call of Duty Black Ops 3 for example. The supply drops in the game was supposedly cosmetics only, but some of the head honchos in Activision said to the developers, "Hey, we're not making enough money, so put some pay-to-win items in the supply loot thingy, we can make more money even if we have enough." Even if their supply drop sales skyrocketed, it killed the excitement and the gaming experience. If you're not playing to improve your skill, then what's the point of playing? Another thing that I hate about microtransactions in AAA titles is that I pay for a full-priced game and then I discover additional items in that game that are already in the game files, and the only way to unlock it is to pay for it. So basically you have to pay for that in-game item that you already paid for. That is very insulting to the gamers, and it only shows how greedy corporate management can be. Look, maybe not all microtransactions are bad. As long as it's not game-changing or pay to win, then I guess it'll be fine. The important thing is, as long as it doesn't kill the gaming experience, then you can keep your player base hooked in the game. Number 3. Bad pre-order bonuses. Alright, let's be honest. The reason why they give these pre-order bonuses is just a poor excuse for the consumer to spend money. Now, I am aware that there are good pre-order bonuses out there. It's just that there are companies who use this tactic so that they can earn money before critics can say the game that they released is complete garbage. I'm not gonna get into detail anymore because Boogie2988 did a better job at explaining why you should probably stop pre-ordering games. So I'll just leave a link down in the description. As for the consumers, stop wasting your money and stop hyping so much because it's already killing recent titles because of your high expectations. Instead, watch some reviews or look at user reviews before buying the game. Stop giving corporate commander your money. Stop feeding his addiction for cash. Seriously, there are bad games because you're not giving them a lesson to learn from. Number 4. Rush development. Now, one of the things that employees hate is very demanding deadlines or very tight deadlines. Anyway, do you know the quote, "Don't rush art"? Well, that applies in video game development as well. Because, well, rush development will lead to severe bugs, glitches, and it will surely ruin the overall quality of the game. Publishers are usually the ones who should be blamed for this, and not the developers. Releasing a game that is not completely debugged and refined will end up being a complete disaster. Sure, there are online patches now, but releasing a game that isn't fully developed will create a bad impression among gamers and may affect future sales of a certain game. Remember E.T. the game? Yeah, remember that monstrosity? That is the finest example of what will happen to a game if publishers give developers an impossible deadline. Let's not forget that corporate greed was also responsible for the infamous video game crash back in 1983, and I really hope we won't revert to that time ever again. But, unfortunately, some publishers still haven't learned their lesson. Please, for the love of Chin Chin, be considerate that making games takes time. Number 5. False advertising. You know what hurts the most? Being lied to. You know what hurts even more? Buyer's remorse. One of the most disgusting things that the industry has done to the gamers is to mislead them through fancy ads and trailers in order to milk them for cash. Well, anyway, some game companies are also guilty for false advertising as well. There have been numerous AAA titles with very noticeable graphics downgrades, such as the first Watch Dogs, Far Cry 3, The Division, and even Rainbow Six Siege, to name a few. I just don't understand how they are getting away with this, and I don't even notice any disclaimers in their trailers stating that what they are showing doesn't represent the final product. My point is, lying is bad, it can affect your reputation, it will affect future sales of products, and you may end up in court if this keeps happening. Oh, by the way, if there's anyone out there who can explain to me how these people can get away with false advertising, then I'll be glad. Just comment down below and enlighten me. Thank you. So those are the 5 things that I think is ruining modern gaming. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, and this is also my first video, so please go easy on me. Lastly, I hope this video reaches to some publishers, and I hope pinpointing these flaws in the gaming industry can help video games become better in the future. So anyway, that's all for now. I'll see you when I see you.